Hi everyone, this is Meenakshi Ramesh from tapyowaytohealing.com. As we continue to do the April Autism Awareness series of videos, today I have my two dear friends, Lavanya Gopal and Selvi Pragasam. I cannot just say friends; they are not only my friends; they are a strong pillar of support in my life. Mutually, we support each other, and they are a constant source of inspiration for me. Even to do a video series like this, they are a big source of inspiration. I have watched them evolve, grow, and blossom and transform and handle life's challenges and obstacles with grace and ease, with a smile on their face all the time. I'm so glad to have both of them here. I want to introduce both of them first, starting with Selvi Pragasam. Selvi Pragasam is a classical dancer, Bharatanatyam dancer, and she is the founder of Kalanithyam Dance Academy. And Lavanya Gopal is her soul sister, friend, and she's also a classical dancer trained in Bharatanatyam. Both of them are artistic directors in the Kalanithyam School of Dance. And today I have both of them on my channel to talk about a non-profit, Infuse. Let me read a little bit about Infuse and then we will begin our conversation. Infuse was founded in April 2017 by Selvi Pragasam and Lavanya Gopal, along with their spouses Ravi Pragasam and Gopal Ramanujam, and sons Brendan Pragasam and Vaibhav Gopal. The team is passionate about making a difference in the life of kids with varied abilities. Selvi and Lavanya Gopal are both parents of neurodiverse children, so they are passionate about making a difference in the lives of other neurodiverse children. Team Infuse has been already running successfully a special need peer interaction program for over 15 years. That program enhances social skills, motor skills, self-esteem, and confidence through dance, music, and stage performances. The program also involved middle and high school volunteers from the community as peers to enable social interaction. So, before I ask them anything, my son Sudarshan has been, a part of the peer interaction program ever since its inception. So it has made a huge difference in terms of his performance abilities, his confidence, the way he interacted with his to learn social skills, and of course motor coordination, balance, and everything. So thank you, Selvi and Lavanya, for doing this for such a long time, and you still continue to do it. And people always, want to. They're always waiting for the next class to begin. So let's just start by. I want to. I want both of you to take turns and talk a little bit about the programs, what all other programs and activities that Infuse has been carrying out in the past 5 years. Yeah.
Sure. Lavi, you want to go first?
No, you can go. You talk.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, first of all, thank you so much, Meenakshi, for having us over. This has been amazing that our friendship and the relationship we share is very, very special. Just like you said, how you get inspired by us, we get inspired by all the work you do. And your presence itself brings in so much meaning to our lives. So thank you so much for being such a wonderful person. You are a great friend, a very compassionate and empathetic individual that you are. And I'm so grateful to God we are able to do the things that we do only because we have a support network and friends who are all are just family to us. So it makes it all possible for us to do no matter what we do. The credit, even though people may see our faces, it's not just us who are doing it. You are behind every one of our endeavors. I still know whenever we put up a show or we do something, we know there are few people who would be there no matter what. And you've been a big pillar of support, just like you said that we are. In fact, I would say more so you have been there for us. So thank you. And thank you. And even when relating to Infuse, any programs we try to bring in, you're one of the first people whose names pops in our head, because you're so multi-talented. And just having the talent is not enough. To have the heart to share is very, very important. To put out that time, to put out that effort. Sometimes we hesitate to ask people when we feel that they're not ready for it. But with you, we share such a comfort factor, and we just come out and ask you. We don't even think, okay, is she going to have the time? Because we know, you will make the time to do it, and you will try your best to do it. So thank you, Meenakshi, for doing all that you do. And Infuse programs, so you have been, since inception, like you said, Sudarshan has been a very integral part of our program. And anything we design or come up with, any ideas, we think of Sudarshan and your family to make sure that that is something that they will be interested in. So, like you said, yes, our peer interaction program has been the longest running program. It is more a dance peer interactions. Both of us are dancers. We found that that was something that we would be able to um, give to the world, or try to do our best. So that's what we do. And why not use it for our kids? And dance is so powerful, especially Bharatanatyam, because we both come from that classical training background. We realize the benefits of Bharatanatyam on typical kids. We see hundreds of kids coming through us, and every one of them, how they grow and how they blossom into being just not good dancers, but into beautiful, amazing individuals, like human beings, right? Having the compassion, having the empathy. And somehow dance manages to teach everything, so from physical attributes to mindful, soulful. The advantages of dance goes on and on and on. But as far as Infuse is concerned, and we just thought that it would be our children are so drawn to music. Our children are so enjoyable. They have so much. They don't need much to be happy. So if you give them a little bit, they are like super excited. The faces light up, like, both me and Lavi, we enjoy Infuse classes, because the satisfaction you get out of teaching our kids, we never get it anywhere else, honestly. There is no want after you finish the teaching them or being part of the class, right? You don't go out thinking, oh, I could have done this better, I could have done this better. Oh, I don't know if this child was happy, if this child was not getting it. There is no doubts. We go with complete 100% satisfaction. Okay, this class was 100% success, because it all comes from the faces of the kids. So they would just come in with so much enthusiasm, dance with so much enthusiasm, participate completely 100% with so much enthusiasm, that it just becomes so contagious and goes around the room, and the whole place lights up. The environment just I can't even describe in words how beautiful it is. So that's the beauty of our children, and that's why we decided to do. We didn't start off as a nonprofit or anything. We just started doing these classes by themselves. And once we did see the joy that our children had with this program, we expanded into other programs. So other programs being, we have had several workshops. We have had volunteers who come and volunteer. You've already brought in Sareli and Vardhini, but have been a lot of other volunteers who have done the same thing. And we have now we have hike program going on. Our people meet um, every Sunday to go on a hike. And we also have had annual programs, proms, dances. We have had graduation ceremonies. And one of our biggest highlights have been that our kids have been able to perform on stage with multiple talents, right? Like be it dance or be it bhajan. Meenakshi, you've been key in having our bhajan program going and instrument and yeah, so many other programs that we have. But I would say Infuse is very much into performance art, so that's where we excel. And that's how we are different. Maybe we have a different approach to Infuse. um so we enhance that aspect of the kids. So I'll let Lavi take over.
And
Meenakshi,
Lavanya, if you can talk a little bit about the field trips, about the summer programs like the about tennis conducted. I'm just giving some examples. I know we have done a lot of activities, but if you can talk a little bit about the field trips and whatever you want to share, please go ahead and share.
again, Selvi said it all, but Meenakshi, truly blessed we are to be a part of this series that you have, undertaken to highlight the Autism Awareness Month. A small seed that you started off has blossomed into a mega series, and thank you for shedding light on all those talents that have been submissive so far. I can see the joy on the faces of the students and the parents, and like Selvi said, every morning begins with Meenakshi's autism series. Congratulations and kudos to you, because I know you're a mother too. You have your commitments, you have your family to take care. Despite that, every episode has the same energy, positive energy, with no compromise whatsoever, and special talent that has been showcased. Thank you for doing this, Meenakshi, and thank you for having us here. Selvi has covered most part of Infuse. I'll talk about the other programs that we've had, but I want to talk about inception of Infuse. That's something I want to talk about. So first, let me complete what Selvi had started. So we had programs for robotics. We had programming. We had interview preparation series that was conducted to prepare the older kids for interviews. We had cooking, fun with science. Then we've had field trips, several field trips to libraries. You were a part of an after school program that we tried to run before the pandemic. You were there right from the beginning. We did that. I know we had a few parents volunteer and conduct a few programs at Infuse. We tried to bring in therapists on board. You yourself are a certified EFT practitioner. So we brought in EFT, we brought in yoga, we brought in speech therapy, occupational therapy. So these were the programs that were in person before the pandemic. And during the pandemic, most of these programs ran successfully online. We do have many more upcoming programs. The Run Club that started as a conversation between two dads turned out to be a big hit, and the Run family has grown thanks to Ashish, Indu. They're an integral part of that program. We have Divya, Madhu, Nalina, yoga practitioners who have been very actively involved. Like Selvi said, there are so many students. Constantly, there are families reaching out to us for volunteers. And we have been blessed because of this divine art form that we are teaching. Many of the volunteers are from Kalanityam. And like Selvi said, we have seen the impact of this art form, which is derived from Natya Shastra, on on the kids that we have taught. The way they look at things, the way they perceive things, the way their confidence has improved, the focus has improved, has motivated us to include this in all the Infuse programs. So if you've noticed, we've brought in a lot of Vedas and Hastas, that we use in dance in our Infuse dance classes. Having said that, I don't want to go into detail there, but I just want to tell you these things. I don't know, Meenakshi, if you have the time, but I've been
Sure,
thinking
sure,
about
please.
this ever since you sent the questions. Both Selvi and I are parents of neurodiverse children, right? And both of us, our minds met, and because of the experiences we've had in life, oftentimes we land up talking about what we learn from our children. So I wanted to just take a couple of minutes to share what I've learned from my own child and from the community around me, from the children that we have been dealing with, and having fun learning through these children. First thing what I learned was never to underestimate them, because I don't have to validate this. Your own series has brought shed light on how talented these children are. Um, that is something these children have taught us. What I've learned from my own kid is to look at the things that they are trying to teach us. Just pause and pay attention to what they are trying to teach us. It started with my own child and from the children that we have been interacting with. Another important lesson, it's taken several years to get to this lesson, but they are not the same every day. Are we the same every day? We are such complex beings, right? So we have to learn to accept that how different they are every day. They can't be the same every day. These things have really, really taken a big place in our hearts. And all these thoughts have been one of the main reasons why Infuse was founded. There are a couple more things. This morning when I woke up, I was thinking about it. My own child, if I don't wait for him to do a task, he'll be more than happy for me to finish it. So I've learned patience from looking at these children and letting them do things their own way, either by copying, by observing, taking time. You know, several times we've seen movements, right? Just involuntary movements or just getting up and walking. These children have taught us that they need to move not to take a break, but to regulate themselves. It's a language that they're teaching us. This is something we had to learn from our own life's experience, and we are trying to incorporate it in the Infuse programs that we are offering to the kids. The other thing that, every time I read the statistics on autism, right? Now I think it's 1 in 36 kids, right? So we may not know a child personally. We may not know, a family personally, but we do know a lot of individuals who teach them, who work with them. Through Infuse, we want to just spread this word in the community. Listen to these children, listen to these adults, learn their language, be patient with them. That was the goal. We had faced so many barriers when our children were growing up. There was a selfish motive initially, because you want a better place for your child, right? I won't deny that, but end of it all, we all are a community. We want to work hard to improve, to make it a better place for our children. So that was the main goal of our inception of Infuse.
Beautifully said, Lavanya and Sylvie. Beautiful, beautiful. From spoken from your heart, and I can relate to every single detail that you have shared. Um, I I also want to, at this point, I want to acknowledge the training that you've given volunteers over the years. When the peer interaction program began all those years back, 15 years back, I remember Selvi used to have like a PowerPoint presentation to train the volunteers. So the volunteers are, trained constantly. And the peer volunteers from middle school and high school, I have had the opportunity to closely interact with them during the after school program. They are so brilliant. They are so kind hearted. They are so open, and they're very quick to learn. And some of the kids, they would look forward to, playing with these volunteers, playing and interacting with them, and it is so nice to watch. The reason I'm sharing this is because we live in an inclusive world. Like, we don't live, there are no separate worlds for individuals with different abilities. So it is, I'm so glad and grateful to Infuse for for being a nonprofit and spreading this message of, inclusion in the community. So I want to acknowledge that. And I also want to share the field trips, because these field trips, I was also a part of these field trips. Our trip to the Oakland Zoo, our trip this last winter in the Santa Cruz Christmas train, and our the short hikes in Alum Rock. So I've always been a part of all these fun trips. So these field trips and these group activities that we do together, it just brings us all together, and it makes us feel really light. And in those moments we really forget about all our worries and pain, and we just have a lot of fun. So yeah, fun is something, we've always Infuse is always incorporated in each and every activity of theirs. Yes.
We all try to have
So
fun at the same time, right? Actually,
right.
I
Yeah.
still we as moms, we try to tell ourselves, okay, we have to take our own time out, we have to do
Mm,
this, do that, do this. It never
yes.
happens. As
Right,
much
right.
as we know it is important to do it, it's easier
Right,
when our kids and families are part of it.
Yeah,
Then we
right, right,
wholeheartedly enjoy that activity.
true. Very
Otherwise, you're
right, right.
feeling always guilty no matter what you're doing. You're like, oh
Right,
no,
right.
I would like my child to be a part of it. So all these activities are family oriented. They are
Mm,
worked around the entire family, just not the child, just not the moms,
right.
or just not the dads. It's a family, and the whole community becomes a family together. We are
Mm,
watching out for each other's kids at that time,
right.
which takes us to the next point, right? We
Mm,
always think about what's going to happen to my child after me. Who's going to
mm,
take
mm,
care in this world that we live in,
mm,
coming to this country where we don't have family.
mm,
Even if we have family, I don't think other family members are going to understand our children as much as our friends
mm,
and our infused families would
correct.
understand our children. It is so important to have that network, that community, that bond that we share, because something happens to us, they are the first people who we are
mm,
going to reach out to. Or even if we don't
right,
reach out to, they are the first people who is going to be
right.
stepping in to take that next step in our lives. Be
Mm,
us being alive or not, or being there or not, right?
mm,
It's
right,
the hard truth, but something
right.
somewhere at the back of our mind, that is
Mm,
what we are all like thinking
mm,
about all the time. What
mm,
is going to happen to my child's future? Who is going to be
mm,
his caretaker, right?
mm, mm,
It doesn't matter how much the involvement of the child is. Our children function in different levels, but all our children need that guidance. All our children need somebody who cares for them, who would make at least guide them in their decisions. So it's not like me and Lavi, we always talk about, we will never be empty nesters. We will be we'll always always have to deal with this, right? We'll have like a 6-year-old and a 7-year-old, 8-year-old, whatever age group. Every day that age group will change too. The morning sometimes I have a very, very naughty 6-year-old at home, and then suddenly I have this very
See, but
adamant and
see, we are
teenager.
able to laugh about it because of the
Yeah,
community we have built around,
right,
right?
right.
I
Yeah,
think the
yeah.
joy that we experience, the little
Yeah,
happiness that we get every day is
right.
priceless. We can't define this.
Yes,
And also, we can't
right.
share this laughter with a different group, right?
Yeah,
Like,
as much as we we talk, actually, when we all get together, like, um, I find it very hard to socialize outside.
me too.
I find
Yeah.
no topics. It's hard for me. I go into a party, and I am the one who's quiet, and everybody is asking, how come you're quiet? Because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to talk anymore. To
No, but
people.
you ask her about Aiden,
Yeah.
she'll be full, she'll go on, she'll have so much, and we will have the laughter of our life if we listen
Right,
to her
right,
on that.
That's what our
right.
children, like
That's
Lavi said, our children teach us so much.
Mm,
There are
right.
people who come to us, sometimes we take up these odd jobs which we are not supposed to do, like counseling and advising people. And sometimes people come and ask us, how are you able to keep your smiling face throughout? How are you able to manage all the schedules together? How are you able to, converse with the children and converse with the 1 hour, like half an hour later, you're with adults and your mode completely changes. You from being a child to being an adult. You're so adaptable. People come and ask, but I think the credit is not us. It is our children who are they have
Children, yeah.
trained us so well.
Yes, yes,
No,
Better
not
than
only
them.
that. See, the volunteers are students, you know,
Mm,
who would worry about little things in life. I mean, for
mm,
them, it is
right.
big, right? So when
Yeah,
they come and share these little problems they have,
yes, yes,
all we tell them is just come and volunteer at Infuse.
mm,
You'll realize how gifted you
mm,
are, how
mm,
blessed you are, and you learn how to give back. That's how these
right,
volunteers have been with us, and they don't
right,
stop there. Even when they go
yeah,
away to college or when they come back, they'll always come and visit.
mm,
Often had visitors who just drop by to visit our
right,
classes. Your own son Shiva, he's
mm,
still a part of Infuse. Kalanityam is a part,
mm,
of helping all these children. We have,
mm,
siblings of the Infuse students who take these children out for dinners, take them out
right,
on dates, on
mm,
proms. So we are
mm,
blessed to have this community who
mm,
realize how much more they
mm.
can do. That's the goal of Infuse, and that's what we've been trying, Meenakshi.
Yeah, the Infuse
Beautifully
comes.
said.
Yeah, we I think we are not an organization, we are a community.
Mm,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
wouldn't.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
I should talk about Brendan here.
Mhm. Yeah, that's
During
what I
the
was going to
pandemic,
ask next.
yes,
Yeah, please talk about, please,
during the
please, yeah.
pandemic when we were lost, right?
Mm,
Selvi's
mm,
younger one came up with the project of, making face shields. In fact, he
mm,
motivated all of us to do something at that time, whatever we could.
right,
My own husband
right.
started sewing that time, and
Yes,
Vaibhav, because of Brendan, all of our children were able to be a part of
help.
assembling face shields. That was
Yes,
something
yes,
he did for our children, for the community when it was most needed. The big
right.
heart. See, he's learned from observing, from seeing his parents, his family, his friends, right? Same thing with
Yes.
all the siblings. There are so many siblings who have been a big part of Infuse. I can't
Mm,
go over all your names right now, but we are truly thankful to all of them.
Yeah, in that note, Vardhani too. I
Yeah,
mean,
oh yeah.
Lavi's family has been so involved in
mm,
everything that we do. Infuse. Like I said, it's just simple that it's just people
mm,
coming together. We don't have like a proper agenda. We don't have like a,
mm,
we don't go
mm,
have too much paperwork.
mm, mm.
They're very
We just
backward.
Yeah.
very, very bad in all doing all that stuff. But
Yeah.
what drives us is that,
Mm,
the community and the
mm,
smiles in the faces of the children and the small
mm,
little victories we get by any small thing we do. There is nothing that we consider, like if there is a proposition for a project, if a child comes up, even if he is a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old comes up and says, auntie, I want to do this, and we welcome it with open arms. We will never say, hey, this will not work, it is
mm,
not along the lines of what we do in Infuse. We've never turned down a project. So we keep encouraging all the kids to keep coming up with something that they
mm,
can do in whatever skill set they have, in whatever
mm,
level they can. There is always time and there is always opportunity to help others. We might not realize it doesn't have to be like, okay, if we do this program, it'll help 20 people. If we do this program, it'll help 100 people. It's not like that. Even if it is able to help one child
yes,
one on one, it's still a valid proposal, right? So
mm,
most of our programs, that's how it's ideas by
mm,
people around us who bring it. It's not us creating those ideas. It's just a spark that happens and it just blossoms into something.
mm,
There are hits and misses, but
mm,
mostly because it comes from a heart of a person. it becomes a big hit. It usually is a big hit. No matter what we do in Infuse, we have seen that it makes a big difference, and it touches lives of people. And children just look forward to it. I've heard so many people tell, if it is, he won't go here, he won't go there. But if we say Infuse, they're all ready to come.
They'll ready
So
to come. Yeah. Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
shows
What a
that
gift.
yes, that
Yeah.
shows that the children, in their minds, children can never lie. They cannot say anything for the sake of saying, or that's something that we also learn from our kids, right? Like
Right. Right.
appreciation, and what we feel has to be genuine all the time. Whatever you say, it's not what you just say, but you have to show by actions. You preach by actions. That's how it is.
Right.
You live your life
Right.
to what you say. And our children have taught us that. I think that is
Right. Right.
a very valuable lesson. Many of them, sometimes they are not able to speak, but their action speaks volumes. And
Volumes.
we need to learn to recognize that. That is very, very important.
Very
Just
important.
because somebody is verbal doesn't mean they can survive in this world better than somebody who cannot talk. So it's so important that we take that time. And thankfully, people are starting to appreciate our children more and more. They are able to see beyond that glass ceiling that is there, break through it. Not just because of our generation, it is more because of the younger generation, because they are the ones who are the future, and they are the people who are going to drive this forward, and say that the community is made up of all kinds of people. Even when in school, when they brand somebody as neurotypical or neurodiverse, I feel that there is no line that is drawn between, there is no solid line that is there. There is always this gray area where children are overlapping, because every child, no matter neurotypical, neurodiverse, whatever they are branded, there is so much difference in each child. And that is what the world needs to stop and realize. Just because there are some marks of, oh, okay, if he doesn't have eye contact, he doesn't talk, he doesn't, we just pick on the negatives and don't see the positives of the child. I always admire Sudarshan. How he came the other day to my house. I didn't know he was coming. Jeremy brought him along. He went for basketball, and both of them came with big smiles in their faces. Aiden and Sudarshan came and entered, and he was all happy. And usually he doesn't talk much, but he was chatty that day. He's like, yeah, he gave a broad smile to my parents, and hi Tata, hi Emma. He was wishing. And then I came in and he gave a big smile to me. I was so happy to see him. I said, hi, Chuchi, how are you? I am good. Where did you go? I went for basketball. Do you like basketball? Yes. I was so happy to see him answer all my questions. And he was looking at me, waiting for me to ask more questions.
Some more questions.
So rather, coming back to what Selvi is saying, if you have a profile of Sudarshan, right? If you see, in all the IEPs, we have this profile, right? The child is
Right.
very quiet, or,
Right.
they have like a list of things. Just compare it to what Selvi just said. You're
Just
looking at
said,
who is
yeah.
this child, because she's not the same every day, right?
Right.
You
Right.
can't
Right.
say
They
all
keep
these
changing
individuals
all
are
the
going to be the
time.
same.
It
And
changes
Yeah.
all the time.
having
Yeah.
said that, right, that takes me back to, oftentimes we remind ourselves that we shouldn't talk
Mm,
about them as though they're not
mm,
present
mm,
there in the same room,
mm,
right? These are
right.
things
Yeah.
we have learned through our children. And so
Right.
all we ask through
Mm,
Infuse, all we
mm,
try to share with parents is take their opinion, even if they are
right.
going to take long to answer that
Mm,
question.
mm,
Wait for
right.
their opinion, because they're fully grown
Mm,
individuals, right? They have a
right.
mindset,
Right.
Mm.
they have a
Yeah.
mind.
Right.
That
Yeah.
patience, we are still working on
Mm,
it. I won't say you have it,
right.
but that is
We'll
something.
always be working on it.
Exactly, it's a constant work in progress,
In
right?
progress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like
And
we say
like
that
Sylvie
the
said,
children.
some of them don't talk, right? Even
Right,
if
yeah.
they don't talk, you don't stay from not interacting. You have to talk to
Right.
them because they want you to talk to them. There
Talk
are
to them,
days
yeah.
my own child will not feel like talking, but he gets upset if I don't talk to him. Because, yes,
Yeah.
they expect that from us, right?
Mm.
So when she
Right,
was just
right.
telling me, I was thinking, oh my God, the profile that we set for our children is
For
so
our
different
children,
from
yeah.
who is this child here today, you know?
And
Yeah,
Doesn't,
yeah.
yeah, age appropriateness, right?
yes,
We
yes.
forget, because our children, for us, they are going to be children all the time. But
Time, yeah.
their age doesn't wait. I mean, they are 23-year-olds, 24-year-olds, 29-year-olds. Yes, 80% of the time or 90% of the time, they're being like children. But then there are times that they need to be validated for their emotions and that age. They physically, they haven't stopped growing. They haven't,
Right.
like, they have the same feelings. How, see, that's why we brought this whole ADU concept for Aiden, because he never asked for it. It's not something, he's very happy in his mummy's house. He's very happy cuddling and, doing all the stuff that he usually does, and he's happy. But somewhere along the road, we have to validate his, he needs his own space. He needs his own personal time where he can be himself and not have to worry about being somebody else that we think he could be, right? We all have our personal spaces. We all want to go and shut the door somewhere and just shut off the world and do whatever we want to do. But when we have our children beyond a certain age living with us, it's still our house, it's our rules. They don't get the
Right.
say in it. So it's very important to encourage that independence. That's why, I mean, I don't know if that is what he exactly wants, but if I was a 29-year-old or a 28-year-old, I would want that for myself, to be to turn on the volume as much as possible, and dance around or watch some crazy show over and over again without mommy yelling at me and saying, hey, you're too loud, you're doing this, you shouldn't be doing this, because as long as they are in the house, we are going to do that. So just having them that independence, respecting that self that they have, is very, very important. As much as we also recognize their feelings, and we want to understand them, being patient with them, we also want to give them that respect for that age and what that age would want. And even though they don't communicate, I think with our experience, from what we have learned, we know that something that they want is privacy. Privacy is something that we have to, just because our children need to be monitored or guided all the time doesn't mean that they don't deserve privacy. It's very, very important to have that. So
Right.
that's another thing that I have been thinking about a lot these days. That's why I just said, okay, let me try this out, and we made this ADU thing. So yeah, I mean, like
Yeah, and
coming back
also
to the
it
point,
gives them a sense of ownership and independence,
ownership,
right?
independence, and
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
proud that
yeah,
they have something
yeah,
that they can call
for
their
themselves.
own, right?
Home,
Every
yeah,
time
yeah.
Aiden refers to our house, he'll always say mommy's house, mommy's car, mommy's house. So it's never his, it's always mommy's car and mommy's house, right? So for him, now we're trying to reiterate, this house is Aiden's house, where he can go and do whatever he wants. He can go in and come out of it whenever he wants. He's got the freedom to do whatever he wants. So it's also important to recognize our children, even if they don't come out and say it in so many words. Um, we should be able to respect that and give them that freedom and privacy that they need, no matter what. So yeah, that's something that this year I have realized a lot. And I learned it from my younger son, because he always, as much as Brendan wants to be part of the family and he wants to be part of the community, but he always says, Mom, I would love to have my own space. It doesn't matter, I love you guys to death, but I do need to have my own space, otherwise I'll go crazy. He goes
Yeah,
to
the same thing applies for the, for the individuals on the spectrum too. And I see that in my son too all the time. And so that's a great point that you shared, Selvi, because for parents who have younger children, it just like, enjoy each and every day, have those good moments, nurture and cherish all of that. But, always, even for us, just working towards their independent skills, I think
Absolutely.
it's very, very important, for them to be successful in the community. I had actually, had a few questions, but you already answered, like, what is the biggest obstacle? What is the biggest win? You've covered all of that, both of you. So I just want you to, both of you to share a little bit, talk a little bit about how, you've talked about the power of community also. And just final in closing to wrap up the call, how just let the audience, people who are watching this know how they can support Infuse.
Go ahead, love.
Okay. See, like I said, currently, I think 1 in every 36 children are getting diagnosed with autism. Every time I read the statistics, it's heartbreaking. You don't want another family to go through this. But all I can say is this: you may not be personally involved. You probably don't know anybody that close to help out, but you might know someone in the community who's constantly working with them, caretakers, teachers, parents. All I ask is listen to them. Listen to the lessons they have to share with you or their experiences. Maybe all together never let go of an opportunity to listen to those people, what they're trying to communicate, what they're trying to teach us. Maybe never let go of the opportunity to tell them how much we love them. These are the words I have in my heart.
So,
Lovely.
uh, so to the question of, how specifically people can reach out to Infuse, like I said, if you have a project idea, anything small or big or whatever you have, just present it with it. A lot of times parents come and say, my child wants to volunteer at Infuse, but it's difficult for us to find an avenue without knowing the volunteer. If Kalanatim, of course, we know our children and we can match up with whatever programs that we have. But if it is a child who's coming from the community, and we entirely encourage the community to be part of, no matter what it is, there's no boundaries of distance or anything like that. If you want to come and help out, you're most welcome to volunteer. But if they can come up with an idea of how they think that they can help the children, we would request that, because
Mm.
with our existing programs, we can only limit certain number of volunteers. We can't take like many people. So we've tried that. When there was a time when there were more volunteers than we had children, and
Mm.
it became a cause for the volunteers rather than for the children. So we are always
Good.
kind of trying to manage that line. So if you have an idea in mind, and it's important that we bring in fresh ideas and fresh
Yes.
projects, not just the
Mm.
same old things that we've been doing over the years, right? So if somebody wants to reach out to us, also bring in some ideas, some projects
Mm.
that you would be willing to contribute to Infuse, and
Mm.
come up with a plan. It doesn't
Mm.
have to be a complicated plan. Have some
Mm.
idea, project proposal can come up. And also,
Mm.
what I would request the parents to do is to listen
Mm.
to their children. The same way we say
Mm.
that we have to listen to our children,
Mm.
volunteers,
Mm.
parents also, please listen to them. If they have an
Mm.
idea, don't
Mm.
shoot it down.
Right, right. Mm.
So it's very important that the parents also listen to them and encourage
Mm.
the younger generation to come in
Mm.
and help. It's in the
Mm.
hands of the parents when they are younger children and they
Mm.
want to volunteer. If the parents are not supporting it, it just clips off at the bud, right? Like that
Right.
beautiful intention of volunteering is clipped off at the bud because the parents say, oh no, you have this class, this class, so I don't think you have time. And the only time parents find it necessary, because when school puts it, it's important for their high school to have volunteer.
Yeah.
I would really want more younger kids to come out of their own free will, not because the school wants it, but because they want to do it. And parents, just like you encourage them to go to whatever different classes they are going to, make it a point that they learn to have that empathy, to have that compassion, and to also develop their self-esteem by helping others, not just by helping themselves, but by helping others. A very important lesson in life to learn, which we never as children got an opportunity to do it, but we always encouraged our younger generation to come. So that's what I would definitely ask parents who want to have their children volunteer at Infuse. Please do not come at that time. Okay, she's got 30 hours. I want her to come to Infuse. Please don't come and tell that to us. You find a proposal, let it be what the child wants to do. And when she's 100% ready to do it, bring her to us, and we will wholeheartedly give her that opportunity to do it with our kids at Infuse. So that's what we are asking
The
for.
other thing I want to add is we are open to Infuse students conducting programs too. So we know we have so much talent, a pool of talent out there. In the past, we have had students like Namit teach an art class, Shraddha teach an art class. My son taught, the preparation for DMV driving tests and stuff like that. So we have our own students who can come and conduct classes. So that will give them a real life experience. And we are also working towards securing jobs. That is another big process that we are looking into. So we will be reaching out to families based on that. Also, this is not only open to young children. If there are parents of these students who want to come and volunteer at Infuse, they are most welcome to do so. Because so many children, they have been there and they have inspired their parents. So after these children leave to college, the parents reach out. So it Infuses open. They can run programs in that. Again, like Selvi said, as long as they have a proposal, a mindset to do that, to serve the community, commitment and integrity,
Very
they're most
important.
welcome to
Yes.
be part of
Yeah.
Infuse.
So, yeah, a good point, Lavi. Commitment. So we have had times when sometimes people do come up with a proposal and they start off, but along the line there is something that is happening in their lives or whatever happens. Um, the program doesn't go forward because they are not available to do it further, right? So it's very important both on the side of the volunteers as well as people from our community. If you sign up for a program at Infuse, make sure that you put it as a priority and show up for it. So a lot of the program success and what the child is going to benefit from is very important. If you prioritize, you will get the benefits of what we are trying to do. If you don't prioritize and the child is absent for most of the program, then there is not the program is not going to be a success. So it's very important that people, when somebody is putting the effort to do something, that it is reciprocated in both directions. Both the person who's doing the program as well as the people who sign up for the program have to be committed for that to be a success and for them to have the benefits of the effort that is put in. So that's very, very important as well.
Selvi. Sure.
Yeah.
And I'm going to, when I post this video on YouTube, I'm going to be, for sure, sharing the description or in the description, sharing the website, Infuse's website. And, if you're a corporate, if you're someone watching this and who wants to contribute to Infuse, if you want to make a donation, please consider donating. I'm asking this on behalf of Infuse. Selvi and Lavanya didn't ask me to ask, but this is, just, as an intention. Any non-profit, any organization needs funding. So if you're watching this, please consider donating to Infuse, and I will be sharing the details in the description.
Thank you.
So thank you
so
again,
much.
both of
It
you.
was
You're
an
very
absolute
welcome. Thanks
pleasure.
for your time. Let me
We
just
got
stop
to meet.
recording and then
Exactly.
we got to meet and chat now. Yeah, just a second. I'll stop.